Welcome to VW 4.2. Today we will be discussing double angle formulas. So in short, we're going to discuss what is sine of 2 theta, what is cosine of 2 theta, and finally, what is tan of 2 theta. So first, let's explore the concept of 2 theta. That's basically saying theta plus theta. There are two of them. And if I think of that as alpha and beta, I can expand it like so. And look at that. I can combine it to get a nice new formula right there. So that's our first formula, 2 sine theta cosine theta. And by the same logic, I can do cosine 2 theta. That is cosine of theta plus theta, which is cosine theta minus sine theta, which is cosine squared minus sine squared. So you can add that here. Cosine squared minus sine squared. Now what's interesting about this one is there are variations. Another variation of this would be 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. That's if I change this thing into 1 minus sine squared. And I could also get 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 if I change this piece right here into 1 minus cosine squared theta. So there are also two variations to consider. So for our notes here, let's kind of expand it, bring that down. There are two other ones to write down. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta and 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. And the final one will be tangent, tan of 2 theta. That's tan of theta plus theta. And we plug it in to the sum formula, get something like this. Or actually write it out, tan times tan to make it more clear. And there it is, 2 tan theta over 1 minus tan squared theta. Okay, so those are the formulas we're going to be dealing with today. Let's try our first question. If sine theta equals 3 over 5, the angle is in quadrant 2, find these values. Let's start by making our generic triangle in quadrant 2. Okay, so 3, 5, negative 4, we'll put theta. And it's pretty simple. We just write out the formula, 2 sine theta cosine theta, and plug it in. 2 sine theta is 3 over 5. Cosine theta is negative 4 over 5. The answer is negative 24 over 25. Cosine 2 theta, that's just cosine squared minus sine squared. So that's negative 4 over 5 squared minus 3 over 5 squared. That is 16 minus 9 over 25, which is 7 over 25. And this last one, 2 tan theta over 1 minus tan squared theta. So that's 2 times negative 3 over 4, all divided by 1 minus negative 3 over 4 squared. So this would be negative 3 over 2 over 1 minus 9 over 16. Let's multiply by 16 over 16. That's negative 24 over 7. Now you might have noticed that for part C, there is a little easier way that we could have done this. We could have done sine of 2 theta over cosine of 2 theta, since we already calculated those, because you might have noticed that negative 24 over 25 divided by 7 over 25, those cancel. You do in fact get the same number, just much faster. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so that's it for our triangle example. The final thing to do is some practice multiple choice for your test coming up. So it says, which of the following is equal to sine of 6 theta? So that's pretty interesting. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to teach you a pretty cool technique called the box technique. To use it, I'm going to use the 2 theta formula, because if you look at all the answer choices, it kind of is pushing you towards the 2 theta formula. Sine of 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. So all of you are at a point now where you need to understand that this theta is theoretically anything. So you want to write sine of 2 times a box is 2 sine box cosine box. Meaning this variable theta, we're going to open our minds and think anything could be in this box. The question is to deal with sine of 6 theta. So imagine this is 6 theta. Compare it to our box here. Well, if it's 2 times something is 6 theta, the box must be 3 theta. And there is your answer right there. That would be letter B. Okay, so let's try it again. Which of the following is equal to 2 cosine squared theta over 2 minus 1? So immediately you should notice that that kind of looks like one of the cosine formulas, except it's a little different, because this is the one we wrote on our notes right there. Let's verify that though. Yeah, 2 cosine squared minus 1. But again, you want to use the box method. So open your mind to think the theta could be anything. Oh, there's a 2 right there. 2 cosine squared box minus 1. And look, the box I want to be theta over 2. So plug in theta over 2. And let's simplify this side right here. Cosine theta, since my 2's cancel. So part C, or letter C, must be the answer. Okay, and now the last part to do, you're actually going to go to number 100. We're going to do the left column together. It says, write the 2 alternate versions of the cosine 2 theta formula below. So on the left one, we're going to write cosine of 2 theta equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. On this one, we're going to write cosine 2 theta equals 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. Use the box method, plug in theta over 2 for theta, and we're solving for these things. So I'm going to do the left side for you so you kind of understand what I want you to do. In this one, we're going to solve for this thing right here. So on the other one, you're going to have to solve for that. So we're going to subtract 1. So cosine of 2 theta minus 1 is equal to negative 2 sine squared theta. Let's move the negatives around, make it easier to look at. 2 sine squared theta is equal to 1 minus cosine of 2 theta. And I'll divide by 2. 1 minus cosine of 2 theta over 2. And now we square root. The absolute value of sine is equal to the root of 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2. And sine of theta should be plus or minus the root of 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2. Now it says plug in theta over 2 for theta. So I'm going to erase those right there and plug in theta over 2. And what happens is these 2's cancel. So let's get rid of those actually. And there it is. We just derived sine theta over 2. And this is one of the formulas we'll be working in class, or working with in the next class. Okay, so good luck on your homework, and bring your questions to class.